You're listening to the Integrated Music Teaching Podcast from Top Music. Tune in weekly as we interview music teachers and experts from around the world to explore creative activities and ideas that build learning connections in students. Our integrated music teaching approach will deepen your students' understanding of musical concepts, engage them in critical thinking, improve their reading and performance, foster their curiosity, and prepare them for a lifetime of music making. Hi teachers, welcome back to the Integrated Music Teaching Podcast. It's Tim Topham here and I'm delighted to be with you for another episode. And this one's going to be completely different. It's unlike anything I've done before. It's a bit shorter. And this one is based on a narrative, a story, which I'm going to introduce to you in just a moment. But before then, I hope you've had a great week. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've been enjoying our episodes this month. As you know, we've been talking all about certification and our PRESTO Framework, which we're continuing in this episode as well. We'd love to know what you think too. If you haven't explored this too much yet and you've got questions or you've got comments or anything like that, then do head to our show notes page for today's episode and feel free to leave any questions or comments. That's at topmusic.co/episode 335. Now, today's weekly freebie is our 10 steps to sight reading checklist. This is completely free. And it's just a great way, a great reminder, one-page reminder of the process that we recommend teachers take when helping a student prepare for a sight reading. So this could be something that each week you do a step of as you lead up to having a student complete a sight reading on their own. Because what we find, of course, with students is they tend to just, what do? Jump in and start sight reading. They've barely looked at the time signature, got a sense for the pulse. They haven't looked at the key signature. They don't really know what's coming up. A lot of the success of sight reading is just taking 30 seconds to plan and look through and decide what's going on and set a pulse in your mind before you start. So our sight reading checklist does step you through that. If you'd like to grab that, it's totally free. It's over at topmusic.co/sight reading. This week's podcast review is from Julie from New Zealand, and she said about the show, just like every podcast so far, this one was brilliant. Every single time I listen, I think, yes, I can do this. I love the fact that relatively new teachers can rub shoulders with world experts through Tim's Top Music Pro membership, and we all benefit hugely from the generously shared information. This is a melting pot of the practices of awe-inspiring teachers and knowledge sharers. Thanks so much, Tim. Well, Julie, thanks so much to you for leaving a podcast review. If you are tuning into this episode, then please shoot us an email, support@topmusic.co, so that we can forward you a thank you gift for taking the time to review and give us a 5-star review. We really do appreciate it. And if you have got value from the podcast, whether you've listened to just a couple of episodes or all 335 of them, we would be delighted if you took just a couple of minutes to leave us a review. If you're unsure of how to do it, you can head to topmusic.co/iTunes, where we've listed the steps. So today's episode, as I said, is a little bit different. We are sharing in this week and next week 2 case studies written from a narrative point of view about 2 different teachers using our PRESTO framework. Today's teacher is Nora. She's a new piano teacher. She recently made the leap of leaving her job at a shoe store to start teaching piano full-time. She's happy with the decision and her husband was more than supportive. But she found that comments from people in her life made her feel like an imposter, like she didn't have a real job. And that was until she started exploring the PRESTO framework. So today's podcast is actually a story, which I'm going to start telling you right now. Here we go. So what do you do? Asked Nora's student's mum. I'm a piano teacher, replied Nora, bemused. She'd just given this woman's daughter a piano lesson. Surely it's obvious what she does. But what's your real job? Nora sighed. How's your little hobby going? Quizzed Nora's aunt. My baking? I haven't done that for a while. I've been busy. No, the piano thing. What, my job? No, not your job. You work at the shoe shop, don't you? That thing you do where you teach little kids to play Twinkle Twinkle or whatever. I stopped working at the shop last year. I'm a piano teacher now. Surely not. These infuriating interactions were happening too often for Nora's liking. Sure, piano teacher doesn't tend to be an option listed when you're doing a survey or a drop-down menu, but there are plenty of jobs that don't appear on that list. Do people judge these professions too? Fed up with not being seen as having a real job, Nora took herself on a walk. She thought about what she could do to change people's perspectives. How could she be taken more seriously? Suddenly, a wave of doubt washed over her. What if they're right? Was quitting my job in the shoe store a mistake? Am I even any good at teaching piano? Or is it a waste of everybody's time? She started feeling less and less confident in her ability. She's amazing at playing piano. Everyone tells her that. But can she teach it as well? She doesn't have any qualifications. She has no prior teaching experience. And she thought, am I an imposter posing as a piano teacher? Am I trying to tell people what they should be doing when I don't have the faintest idea myself? She thought back to her lessons the previous week. How proud Judy was when she put both hands together for the very first time, thanking Nora for being the best teacher ever. Or overhearing Fern's teenage brother telling her her piece was sounding awesome, the look on Fern's face at the thought of impressing her older brother. Or the video normally nervous Mel's mum sent her of Mel performing Happy Birthday at her grandma's 80th birthday party. I must be doing something right, Nora thought, and I absolutely love it. It's the best job I've ever had. But I just don't feel like a piano teacher should. Nora headed home and sat down at the table with a notebook. At the top of the page, she wrote the heading, How to Make Piano Teaching My Proper Job. And then she listed these dot points. Firstly, get more students. If I had a really busy studio, people would have to take me more seriously. It wouldn't look like Nora's little hobby anymore. 2, feel more confident teaching theory. I know the answers, but there have been certain things I've tried teaching that have just confused the kids. I need better ways to teach things. 3, have a better plan. I feel like I'm just winging it, and it's unsettling to me. I need a plan. 4, appear more professional. At the moment, everyone pays in cash for each lesson, but sometimes they forget to bring the money, so I have to remind them, and it gets awkward. It doesn't come across as professional. How do I change that? And 5, keep the teenage students. I've had a couple of teenage students leave in the past month because they'd just lost interest. It's hard not to take that personally. Am I not giving them interesting enough lessons? Are they bored of what they're learning? She sat back and looked at her list and felt instantly better just getting it all out. This seems fixable, she thought to herself. She thought back to her time at the shoe shop. If she needed help, she'd ask her colleagues. She never had to figure things out for herself. She looked around her empty music room. Can you help me? She asked Monty the cat, who was rolling at her feet. Just then, Nora had a sudden recollection of something she'd saved on Instagram. She scrolled through the photos of cats and cakes until she found the reel she was looking for. Hey everyone, I'm Tim Topham and I help music teachers teach better. Hey Tim, thought Nora, I hope you can help me. She watched the video about the animal improv, an idea she'd then carried out in her lessons and her students had loved. She clicked on Tim's profile. Oh, I love that song, she told Monty the cat as Tim started playing Heat Waves by Glass Animals. Wait, I think Brett likes that song. He was humming it when he walked in last week. Oh, I could teach him how to play it now. He'd love that. She carried on scrolling. No book beginners? What do you do with a beginner if you don't have a book? She typed in the address Tim mentioned in the video and started reading. Monty, it's like a light bulb has turned on in my brain. Why do you need to start a beginner on a book straight away? They should be exploring at the piano and learning to love music. That's what it's all about. Oh, this makes so much sense. She carried on browsing the top music website. PRESTO Framework? Monty, I'm going to need that notebook. She ushered the cat off her notebook and dusted off the cat hairs, ready to start making notes. Monty, this is so good. Everything I need help with is right here. I don't have to guess anything or try to work things out by myself. Monty the cat looked up. Well, since you ask, I'll tell you all about this PRESTO framework. P stands for pedagogy. Don't you love the word pedagogy, Monty? It covers so much. It's basically everything we do as teachers. Before today, I thought teaching piano was just step 1, decide what to teach. Step 2, teach it. Step 3, move on. But it's so much more. It's all about teaching with an integrated approach, being creative. Top Music has shown me already that teaching is actually deciding with your student what to work on. We're not solely in charge. We should work with the student and focus on things they're interested in as well as the things we know they should learn. And secondly, teaching it in fun ways, using games and different activities, watching videos and asking them questions rather than just telling them the answers. And exploring. When the student has learned something, don't just move on. Stay with it for a bit. Have fun with it. Unpack it. Get deeper and get creative. Hi everyone, I wanted to take a moment to let you know about an amazing community of music teachers ready to welcome you over at Top Music Pro. Top Music Pro is the global hub for music teachers looking to connect, learn, grow, and be challenged in both their teaching and studio businesses. Community members save time by accessing hundreds of step-by-step lesson plans, creative teaching frameworks, business guides, online courses, and workshops. We offer training in topics as diverse as music technique, lead sheets, website building, intermediate repertoire, group teaching, and special needs teaching. We also save you money through our extensive discounts, including those with Music Notes, Sheet Music Plus, Music Room, Office Depot, Tonebase, and many more. And if you like sheet music, all our members get a free book of studio licensed, beautifully engraved sheet music each and every month. As a valued podcast listener, you can check out the Top Music Pro community free for 14 days by heading to topmusicpro.com, clicking Join Now on our studio tier, and using the special coupon code IMTPOD23. That's all one word. So that's IMTPOD23. We can't wait to welcome you inside. And I know that might sound a bit overwhelming, Monty, but don't worry. There are so many things to read and watch and listen to. I'm going to become a pedagogy star. Monty curled up on the windowsill next to Nora. I'm glad you're getting comfy. I've got so much more to tell you. Next, we've got R, which stands for repertoire. I'm really excited about this one. It's really opened my eyes to new things. I don't know why, but I've always just thought I should use the same method book I learned from. I have absolutely everyone learning from that book because that's what I did. It's what my teacher did. But one size does not fit all. Monty, look, pop songs. And even more excitingly, pop songs by ear. I play like that all the time. Why has it never crossed my mind that I should teach my students to do that too? I guess it just never seemed the right way to do things. But Top Music is showing me that there is no set right way. What's right for one student isn't necessarily right for another. Monty, idea, pop songs. That's how I engage my teenage students. Rose came in last week wearing a Taylor Swift t-shirt. Can you imagine how excited she's going to be tomorrow when I tell her we're going to learn Anti-Hero by ear? Oh, I can't wait. But also, Monty, get this. You know my oldest student, May, the one who's had lessons before she came to me? She's good, like really good, and she loves playing classical pieces, which is great. We've been playing our way through a book her old teacher gave her, but that's all we've been doing, just playing. I'm learning that repertoire is more than just that. It's about analysing the piece and thinking about the choices the composer made, searching for musical elements, making connections, and finding meaning. So let me show you this intermediate repertoire bundle. It shows you how to teach your more advanced students the kind of pieces May just loves. Oh, I need this. May won't know what has hit her when she comes for lessons, and I have all these suggestions for her and the newfound confidence to really teach them. This bundle's free to Top Music Pro members. I think I might have to come back to that. Okay, so E, this is a good one, educational journey. What do we mean by educational journey, I hear you asking, Monty? Monty the cat turned to face the window to watch a bird on the bird feeder. Thanks for your question. I'll tell you. Every student is different. They all like different things. They learn differently and want different things from their piano lessons. So why should I be teaching them in the same way from the same book? It makes no sense when you think about it. You know Ed? He's always noodling around on the piano, coming up with the coolest sounding pieces. I've always pushed them to one side, telling him he needs to focus on the pieces in the book. But should I keep doing that, Monty? It's clear he wants to improvise and compose. I should let him embrace his creativity. But I'll be honest with you, Monty, that's a bit outside my comfort zone. My teacher never let me do anything like that. Composing was something professional composers did, not students. Maybe Ed is destined to be a professional composer. Oh, or maybe he just wants to express himself through music. Either way, I can help him. Or at least I'll be able to help him when I've read some blogs, watched some videos and done some courses. I really do need to look into that Top Music Pro membership. I also want to get some more tips about teaching sight reading. Greg always wants to play as many pieces as possible so he can just sit down and sight read with no problem. And that'd be an absolute game changer for him. Oh, this is great. I'm exploring different paths on my teaching journey in order to help my students on their educational journeys. Listen closely, Monty. This next one is exciting. Yes, I know I've said everything is exciting, but that's because it is. All right, S is for studio setup. Now, this is the area I wish I'd found before I started teaching, but that's okay. It's never too late to get organised. You know what I've never done, Monty? Sat down and thought about who I am as a teacher. I know it's still early days. I've only been teaching for just over a year. Now's the time to really think about my teaching philosophy. I've got a lot to consider. I'm definitely happy with teaching from my home studio, but you know something I've never thought about? Group teaching. I know, lessons would be even louder with more kids here, but you've got your little bed upstairs. You can hide in there. It'd also mean I could teach more students, which is great for loads of reasons. And you know what more students means? I can buy you that fancy cat bed you've always been eyeing on Amazon and some fancy cat treats every now and then. Monty's ears picked up with the mention of treats. You're sold on group lessons now, aren't you, Monty? Well, luckily, Top Music have got loads of things about group teaching, including growing a group teaching studio bundle and lots of courses. And it's all inside that membership. I'm really going to have to look into this Top Music Pro membership, Monty. I'll have to tell James all about it. The more I think about it, I think I lack organisation and systems, and that's stopping me from being seen as a professional business owner. I need to pull my socks up and figure out exactly what systems and policies I need to implement. Maybe then people will stop asking me what my real job is. Luckily, I've seen lots of business talk on Top Music, so I'm 100% sure they'll be able to sort me out. In the meantime, let me tell you about T. T stands for technique. What do you mean you're not sure what technique is, Monty? You've never seen me teach before? Yeah, okay, you've got me there. It's certainly not something I make a big deal of, but having looked through Top Music's tips on technique, I definitely should. Even with beginner students, I can show them the proper way to sit at the piano, which is definitely not cross-legged, as I keep reminding Sarah. Oh, and I definitely need to brush up on technique. Then, if my students perform in front of people, they'll look like proper pianists and everyone will be so impressed. Okay, last one, Monty. O stands for outreach. This one I'm very excited about. Yes, I know I'm excited about everything. Top Music was very exciting. Top Music was a very exciting find. But this one, Monty, this is how I get known. How I make a name for myself in our community, and how I grow a busy and thriving studio so people stop asking me, but what do you do? Monty, I should set up a social media account for my studio and post what we're getting up to, share stories and studio news. That will stop people asking me what I actually do with my time. They can see it. Yes, I can also share photos of you when you're sleeping on the keys. I know, it's so cute. See, I told you it's all very exciting. Now, to wait for James to get home and tell him about me becoming a Top Music Pro member. Well, I hope you enjoyed that fictional story about our newbie Nora teacher and her experience looking through the PRESTO Framework and how that can help her with those feelings of imposter syndrome and lacking of confidence, and how she feels perceived as someone who's just got a hobby job. If you're interested in finding out more, then head over to our blog, topmusic.co, for all the details and more information. Now, next week on the podcast, we're going to be meeting veteran Val, who's been teaching for many years. How could the PRESTO framework possibly help her? Well, we're going to be exploring her story at the same time next week. I really hope you'll join me for it, and I'll speak to you then. How do you keep up to date with all the latest trends and research into music education? How do you connect with other teachers around the world and make sure your teaching stays fresh and relevant for students of all ages and stages, both now and into the future? I created our Top Music Pro membership to be the one-stop shop for music teaching resources, training, support and community, and I'd love for you to come and join us inside. With over 40 comprehensive training courses, hundreds of teaching demonstrations and lesson plans, free monthly sheet music, discounts and all the business and pedagogy support you could ever need, Top Music Pro is the community you've been looking for. If you're ready to level up your learning from the podcast and join thousands of other teachers in our global network, head over to topmusicpro.com today. If you enjoy this show and want to hear more of our work, be sure to subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening today. For links and resources mentioned in this episode, visit us at topmusic.co/podcast or check out the show notes. I'm Tim Topham, and this is the Integrated Music Teaching Podcast, a production of Top Music. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your week ahead, and I'll catch you next time.